Why was I not invited, Mommy? Why did Grandma have a sleepover without me? My 9-year-old son was sitting on the couch, my phone in his hands, tears streaming down his face. On the screen was a Facebook album my mother-in-law had posted that morning, filled with photos from the previous night. Photos of a sleepover at her house. Photos of all my nieces and nephews in matching pajamas, eating popcorn, watching movies, building pillow forts, having the time of their lives. All of them except my son. There were 5 children in those photos. Tyler, age 11. Sophie, age 10. Emma, age 8. Little Olivia, age 4. And Madison, age 6. Every single one of my mother-in-law's grandchildren was there, captured in moment after moment of joy and togetherness. Every single one except Liam. I do not understand, Liam said, scrolling through the photos. They had a party. They all got to stay at Grandma's house. Why did nobody tell me? Why was I not there? I took the phone from his hands gently, looking at the photos myself. My mother-in-law had gone all out. Matching pajamas with little stars on them, clearly bought specifically for this event. A living room transformed into a blanket fort paradise. Bowls of popcorn and candy and hot chocolate with marshmallows. A projector screen showing what looked like a Disney movie. Sleeping bags arranged in a circle on the floor. It looked magical. It looked like exactly the kind of memory that children treasure forever. And my son had been deliberately excluded from it. I do not know, sweetheart, I said, but that was a lie. I knew exactly why Liam had not been invited. I just did not know how to explain it to him in a way that would not break his heart even more. Did I do something wrong? Liam asked. Is Grandma mad at me? No, baby. You did not do anything wrong. Then why? Why did everyone get to go except me? I pulled him into my arms, holding him tight while he cried. Over his shoulder, I kept looking at the photos on my phone. My mother-in-law's smiling face as she posed with her grandchildren. The children laughing, playing, being a family together. And somewhere across town, my son had been home in his own bed, completely unaware that he was being excluded from something special. She had not even told us. She had not called to explain, had not made up an excuse, had not given us any warning that this was happening. She had simply organized a sleepover for her grandchildren and left Liam out, assuming we would never find out. But Facebook had betrayed her. She had posted the photos publicly, probably forgetting that I followed her account, probably not thinking that Liam might see them. And now my son was devastated, learning in the cruelest possible way that his grandmother did not consider him part of the group. Let me start from the beginning. My name is Amanda Reyes. I am 34 years old, and I have been married to my husband Chris for 11 years. We have one child, a wonderful boy named Liam who is 9 years old. He has dark curly hair that he inherited from my side of the family, and warm brown eyes that light up when he smiles, and a heart so tender that he cries at sad movies and worries about stray cats and always shares his snacks with friends who forgot their lunch. Liam is what some people call sensitive. He feels things deeply. He notices when people are upset and wants to help. He gets his feelings hurt easily, but he also loves easily and forgives easily. In my opinion, his sensitivity is one of his greatest strengths. It will make him a compassionate adult, a good friend, a caring partner. But my mother-in-law, Patricia Hoffman, sees it differently. To her, Liam's sensitivity is a flaw, a weakness, something to be embarrassed about rather than celebrated. Patricia is a woman of strong opinions and traditional values. In her world, boys should be tough. They should play rough sports and get dirty and never, ever cry. They should be independent and stoic and capable of handling anything without showing emotion. These beliefs were passed down from her own parents, reinforced by the culture she grew up in, and calcified over decades into something rigid and uncompromising. Her husband, Chris's father, had been the same way. A former military man who believed that boys needed to be hardened, not coddled. He died 5 years ago, but his influence lived on in Patricia, who had absorbed his worldview completely. Liam does not fit this mold. He prefers art to athletics. He would rather read a book than play football. He expresses his emotions openly, crying when he is sad, laughing when he is happy, hugging people when he loves them. He is everything Patricia thinks a boy should not be. I remember the exact moment I first noticed Patricia's disapproval of Liam's personality. He was 4 years old, and we were at a family barbecue. The older grandchildren were playing a rough game of tag in the backyard, running and shoving and shouting. Liam did not want to join. He was sitting on the porch, drawing pictures with sidewalk chalk. Patricia came over to him. "Why are you not playing with your cousins?" "I do not want to. I am drawing." Boys should be outside playing, not sitting around drawing pictures. "But I like drawing." "You need to be tougher. Life is not going to be easy for a boy who sits on the sidelines." She walked away, leaving Liam looking confused and hurt. He did not understand why his grandmother was disappointed in him for doing something he enjoyed. He was only 4. I intervened then, sitting down next to him and admiring his chalk drawings. "These are beautiful, sweetheart. I love the colors you are using." "Grandma says I should play with the other kids." "You can play with them if you want to. But it is also okay to do your own thing. Not everyone has to like the same activities." "Does Grandma not like my drawings?" "I think Grandma does not understand art the way you do. But that is okay. I understand. And I think your drawings are wonderful." That was 9 years ago. And in those 9 years, Patricia's attitude toward Liam has not improved. If anything, it has gotten worse. And she has never let him forget it. Over the years, I have watched Patricia treat Liam differently than his cousins. The favoritism is not always obvious. Sometimes it is subtle, a look or a tone of voice that others might not notice. But I notice. And more importantly, Liam notices. Tyler, the oldest grandson, is her clear favorite. He plays baseball and football, sports that Patricia can understand and appreciate. He is loud and confident and competitive. He reminds Patricia of her late husband, of the kind of man she thinks boys should grow into. Patricia brags about Tyler constantly. At every family gathering, she tells stories about his latest game, his statistics, his chances of getting a sports scholarship. She attends all his games, cheering from the stands, wearing shirts with his team logo. She displays his trophies in her living room, polishes them regularly, points them out to every guest. The girls get attention too, though in different ways. Sophie is praised for her beauty and her dance recitals. Patricia buys her dresses and takes her to get her hair done and gushes about how she looks like a little princess. Emma is celebrated for her academic achievements, her straight A's, her awards for perfect attendance. Even little Olivia and Madison, still in preschool and kindergarten, are fawned over for being cute and charming and precocious. But Liam is tolerated at best. Patricia rarely asks about his interests. She does not attend his school art shows or his piano recitals. When he tries to show her his drawings or tell her about the books he is reading, she listens with obvious disinterest, her eyes wandering, her responses minimal. "That is nice, dear," she says, before turning her attention to one of the other grandchildren. "Tyler, tell me about your game last weekend." The message is clear, even if it is never spoken directly. Tyler's accomplishments matter. Liam's do not. I have documented these incidents over the years, keeping a mental tally that has grown disturbingly long. The time Patricia promised to come to Liam's piano recital and then did not show up, claiming she forgot. The time she bought expensive presents for all the grandchildren except Liam, giving him a gift card instead because she did not know what he liked. The time she made a photo calendar for her kitchen featuring pictures of all the grandchildren except Liam, who was reduced to a small image in the corner of the December page. Each incident on its own might seem small. But together they form a pattern. A pattern of neglect, of indifference, of telling a child through actions that he is less important than his cousins. Chris has noticed it too, though he tries to minimize it. "My mother is just old-fashioned," he says. "She does not know how to relate to a kid like Liam. It does not mean she loves him less." But I see the truth that Chris does not want to acknowledge. Patricia does not just fail to understand Liam. She actively disapproves of him. She thinks there is something wrong with a boy who cries, who is gentle, who prefers books to balls. And that disapproval colors every interaction she has with him. I have confronted her about it before. Small confrontations, carefully worded, trying to advocate for my son without starting a war. "Liam would really love it if you came to his piano recital next week." "Oh, I am so busy that day. But tell him I said good luck. Could you maybe ask Liam about his drawings sometime? He has been working so hard on them." "I will try to remember. But I just do not understand all that artsy stuff." Liam told me he felt left out at the family barbecue. The other kids were playing ball and he did not want to join. Well, maybe if he tried harder to fit in, he would not feel left out. He cannot expect everyone to adjust to him. Each conversation ended the same way. Patricia making excuses, deflecting responsibility, subtly implying that the problem was Liam, not her. That if he would just be different, just be more like the other grandchildren, everything would be fine. But Liam should not have to be different. Liam should be loved for who he is, not who his grandmother wishes he was. The sleepover was the breaking point. I found out about it from the Facebook photos, just like Liam did. Patricia had not mentioned it to me, had not called to invite Liam, had not given any indication that it was happening. I only knew because Liam saw the photos while playing games on my phone and asked why his cousins were having a party without him. I called Patricia immediately, my voice shaking with anger. I had to step outside onto the back porch so Liam would not hear the conversation. "What is this sleepover? Why was Liam not invited?" Patricia's response was maddeningly calm. "Oh, that. It was just a little something for the grandkids. I did not think Liam would enjoy it." "You did not think he would enjoy a sleepover with his cousins? Eating popcorn and watching movies? What 9-year-old would not enjoy that? Liam is different. He is so sensitive. I was worried he would get homesick and cry and ruin it for everyone else." The casualness of her cruelty took my breath away. She was not even trying to hide it. She was not even pretending to feel bad. "So you excluded him completely? Without even asking? Without giving him a chance?" "I was trying to protect him. And the other children." Can you imagine if he started crying in the middle of the night and wanted to go home? It would have disrupted everything. He has never done that. He has stayed at friends' houses overnight plenty of times without any problems. Well, those are his friends. Family is different. There is more pressure. There is only pressure because you make him feel unwelcome. If you treated him the same as the other grandchildren, he would be perfectly comfortable. I treat all my grandchildren the same. You absolutely do not. Tyler's trophies are all over your living room. You have been to every single one of his games. When was the last time you came to one of Liam's piano recitals? Silence on the other end. That is what I thought. You pick and choose which grandchildren deserve your attention based on whether they fit your idea of what children should be. And Liam does not fit, so he gets left out. That is not fair, Amanda. I am not a villain here. Liam is difficult. Difficult? He is a 9-year-old boy who likes art and reading and happens to be more sensitive than his cousins. That is not difficult. That is just different. Different can be difficult when you are trying to manage 5 grandchildren at once. I cannot give everyone special treatment. Inviting him to the same events as everyone else is not special treatment. It is equal treatment. The bare minimum. Patricia sighed heavily, the sigh of someone who thinks they are being unfairly persecuted. Amanda, I do not have to justify my decisions to you. It was my house and my event. I invited who I wanted to invite. You invited every single grandchild except one. You excluded a 9-year-old boy and let him find out through Facebook photos. Do you have any idea how much you hurt him? He will get over it. Children are resilient. Do you even hear yourself? You hurt a child on purpose, and your response is that he will get over it. I did not hurt him on purpose. I was trying to spare him. By excluding him from a family event? By taking photos of all his cousins having fun without him and posting them on social media where he would inevitably see them. I did not think he would see them. Of course you did not think. You never think about Liam. He does not exist in your mind except as an inconvenience. Patricia's voice turned cold. I am not going to continue this conversation if you are going to be hysterical. I am not hysterical. I am furious. There is a difference. Furious seems like an overreaction. My son is crying right now, Patricia. He is asking me why his grandmother does not want him at her parties. What am I supposed to tell him? Tell him it was not the right event for him. Tell him there will be other opportunities. What other opportunities? The ones where you continue to leave him out because he is too sensitive. I did not leave him out because he is sensitive. I left him out because I did not think he would have fun. That is the same thing. You decided without asking him that he would not enjoy something every other grandchild was invited to. That is exclusion. That is discrimination. Discrimination is a strong word. It is the accurate word. You discriminated against my son because he does not meet your standards for what a boy should be. I have no standards. I love all my grandchildren. Then act like it, because right now, your actions say something very different from your words. Patricia's voice turned cold. I think you are overreacting. It was one sleepover, not the end of the world. It is not one sleepover. It is a pattern of treating Liam differently, of making him feel like he does not belong, of sending the message that he is not good enough to be part of this family. That is not what I am doing. It is exactly what you are doing, whether you admit it or not. And I am done watching it happen. I hung up the phone, my hands shaking, my heart pounding. I stayed on the porch for several minutes, trying to calm down, trying to figure out what to do next. Chris had been listening from the doorway, his face troubled. What did she say? She said Liam is too sensitive and she did not want him to ruin the sleepover for everyone else. She said she was protecting him. Protecting him by excluding him? Apparently. Chris ran his hand through his hair. I knew she was old-fashioned, but this is too much. What are we going to do about it? He did not have an answer. Neither did I at that moment. All I knew was that something had to change. I could not keep watching my son be treated as less than his cousins. I could not keep explaining away his grandmother's cruelty. I could not keep hoping that Patricia would magically become a better person. That night, after Liam was in bed, Chris and I had a long conversation about his mother. It was a difficult conversation, the kind that threatens marriages, the kind that forces people to choose between their spouse and their family of origin. I need you to see what is happening, I said. I need you to really see it, not minimize it or make excuses. I see it. Do you? Because every time I bring up your mother's treatment of Liam, you tell me she is just old-fashioned. That she does not mean any harm. That she loves him in her own way. I know I have said those things. And I was wrong. I was surprised. Chris had always defended his mother, always found ways to explain away her behavior. This was the first time he had acknowledged that the problem was real. The sleepover thing is inexcusable, he continued. Every grandkid except Liam. Matching pajamas. Photos all over Facebook. She did not even try to hide it. She did not even care if he found out. Because she does not think it matters. She does not think Liam's feelings are as important as the other children's. I know. And I am ashamed that I let it go on this long. I kept hoping she would come around, that she would see what an amazing kid Liam is. But she is never going to see it, is she? No. She is not. Because she has decided who Liam is, and no amount of evidence will change her mind. Chris was quiet for a long moment. What do you want to do? I want to give Liam the sleepover he deserved. Not at Patricia's house. Better than Patricia's house. I want him to have a night so special that he forgets all about the one he missed. That sounds like a good start. And then I want to have a serious conversation about how much access your mother has to our son. I am not saying cut her off completely, but something has to change. I agree. We talked late into the night, making plans, working through the complicated emotions that come with acknowledging that a parent is not the person you wanted them to be. By the time we went to bed, we had the outline of a strategy. A way forward that would protect Liam while still maintaining some relationship with Chris's family. First, the sleepover. I threw myself into planning with an intensity that surprised even me. If Patricia could organize a magical night for her grandchildren, I could organize something even better for my son and his friends. Something so incredible that it would create memories to last a lifetime. Something that would show Liam his value, his worth, his place in the world. I called Liam's 3 closest friends from school, Marcus, Dylan, and Jaden. I had met all their mothers at school events, and I knew these boys were good kids who genuinely cared about Liam. They were the kind of friends who included him in everything, who appreciated his creativity, who never made him feel weird for being different. I called their parents and explained what I was planning. I did not go into detail about the sleepover Liam had been excluded from, but I hinted that he had experienced something hurtful and I wanted to give him something special to make up for it. A sleepover to end all sleepovers, I said. A night of adventure and fun and friendship. Everyone was enthusiastic. Everyone wanted to help. Marcus's mother offered to contribute snacks. Dylan's mom said she had a telescope we could borrow. Jaden's dad, who worked in IT, offered to help set up any technology we needed. The community of parents rallied around my son without even knowing the full story. The theme was space. Liam was obsessed with astronomy at the moment, always talking about planets and stars and black holes. He had a poster of the solar system on his bedroom wall. He watched space documentaries on weekend mornings. He had checked out every book about astronauts from the school library. I transformed our living room into an outer space paradise. It took me 3 full days of preparation, shopping trips to multiple stores, late nights cutting and hanging and arranging. I hung glow-in-the-dark stars all over the ceiling, hundreds of them, arranged in actual constellations. I used a star map I found online to make sure the Big Dipper and Orion and Cassiopeia were all in their proper places. The effect when the lights were off was stunning, like being outside on the clearest night imaginable. I rented a small planetarium projector that cast moving galaxies on the walls. It cost $50 for the weekend, but it was worth every penny. The projector showed nebulae and spiral galaxies and shooting stars, creating a constantly shifting background that made the room feel like a spaceship traveling through the cosmos. I bought space-themed sleeping bags, deep blue with planets and rockets on them. For sleeping bags, 1 for each boy, each one identical so no one would feel left out or less special. I made a banner that said, Liam's Galactic Adventure, in silver letters. I cut each letter out of metallic paper and strung them on fishing line. Underneath the main banner, I hung smaller signs with space puns. "This party is out of this world," and "Houston, we have a party." The snacks were space-themed too. Moon pies, obviously, a classic treat that fit the theme perfectly. Star-shaped sugar cookies that the boys could decorate themselves, with blue and purple and silver frosting and edible glitter. Alien slime punch that was just green lemonade with gummy worms floating in it. Popcorn served in containers I had labeled astronaut fuel and cosmic crunch. For dinner, I planned homemade pizza, because even space explorers need carbs. But not just any pizza. I bought round pizza dough and toppings and explained to the boys that they would be designing their own planetary pizzas. Each boy could create his own world with whatever toppings he wanted. I planned activities for every hour, writing out a detailed schedule so nothing was left to chance. No awkward moments of boredom. No opportunities for the energy to flag. 6 to 7 p.m. Arrival, exploration of the transformed living room, oohing and awing at the decorations. 7 to 8. Scavenger hunt for hidden moon rocks around the house and backyard. I painted 20 rocks with glow-in-the-dark paint and hid them in increasingly creative spots. Whoever found the most would win a special prize, a set of glow-in-the-dark planets to hang in their room. 8 to 9. Build your own rocket craft project with cardboard tubes and paint. I had collected paper towel rolls and toilet paper tubes for weeks, and I bought paint and glue and glitter and foam sheets for decoration. The boys would design their own rockets, and then we would test them in the backyard using rubber band launchers I built myself. 9 to 10. Dinner, the planetary pizza project. 10 to 11. Movie marathon featuring Liam's favorite space films. We would start with a fun animated one and then move to something more dramatic for the boys who could stay awake. 11 to midnight, late-night telescope session in the backyard, where we would look at the actual moon and stars. Dylan's mom had dropped off the telescope that morning, a surprisingly nice one that could show the craters on the moon and the rings of Saturn. And the special surprise, I had arranged for a video call with my cousin who worked at the local science museum. He would show the boys behind-the-scenes footage from the planetarium and answer their questions about space. A real scientist talking to them about real space exploration. I knew Liam would lose his mind. I spent more money than I should have. I stayed up late every night for a week, preparing, crafting, arranging. Chris helped when he could, but this was my project, my mission, my gift to my son. By Friday afternoon, everything was ready. The living room looked like something out of a movie. I stood in the doorway, surveying my work, feeling proud and nervous and determined. This was going to be the best night of Liam's life. I would make sure of it. The night of the sleepover, Liam's face when he saw the transformed living room was everything I had hoped for. "Mom," he whispered, his eyes huge. "This is incredible. This is the best thing I have ever seen. You deserve incredible, sweetheart. You and your friends are going to have an amazing night." The boys arrived one by one, each of them reacting with the same awe and excitement. They ran around the living room pointing at the constellations, spinning under the projected galaxies, shouting about how cool everything was. The scavenger hunt was a hit. The boys tore through the house and yard, finding moon rocks hidden in increasingly creative spots. Marcus found one in the freezer. Dylan discovered one taped to the bottom of a lawn chair. Jaden located one inside the mailbox. Liam found the final one, the Special Commander rock, hidden inside his pillowcase. The rocket building project got competitive in the best way. Each boy designed and decorated his own rocket, and then we took them outside to see whose would fly the farthest when launched with rubber bands. Liam's won, which made him beam with pride. Dinner was homemade pizza, because even space explorers need carbs. The boys each got to make their own personal pizza with whatever toppings they wanted. Marcus went heavy on the pepperoni. Dylan created something alarming with olives and pineapple. Jaden stuck to classic cheese. Liam made a pizza with what he called alien vegetables, which was just regular vegetables arranged in the shape of a face. After pizza came the video call with my cousin. The boys gathered around the computer, asking questions about black holes and astronauts and whether aliens were real. My cousin answered each question seriously, treating them like real scientists, showing them footage from the planetarium's latest show. The boys were riveted. Then the movie marathon. We watched 2 space movies, curled up in sleeping bags with bowls of popcorn and cups of alien slime punch. By the second movie, some of the boys were starting to fade, their eyes drooping despite their insistence that they were not tired at all. The telescope session was the perfect finale. We bundled up and went into the backyard, where Chris had set up our small telescope. The sky was clear, the moon bright and detailed through the lens. The boys took turns looking, gasping at the craters, at the way the moon was not just a flat circle but a real place with mountains and valleys. "We are looking at something that is really, really far away," Liam said to his friends. "Like, super far. And we can see it. That is so cool." By midnight, all 4 boys were in their sleeping bags, exhausted and happy. They whispered to each other for a while, sharing secrets and jokes, before finally falling asleep one by one. Liam was the last one awake. I came to check on them and found him lying on his back, looking up at the glow-in-the-dark stars on the ceiling. "Mom," he whispered. "Yes, sweetheart. This was the best night ever. Thank you." "You are welcome, baby. You deserve all the best nights." I do not even care about Grandma's sleepover anymore. This was way better. I kissed his forehead. "I am glad. Now get some sleep, Space Commander." He smiled and closed his eyes. Within minutes, he was asleep, surrounded by friends, under a ceiling full of stars. The next morning, I made the boys a big breakfast: pancakes shaped like planets, eggs, bacon, and orange juice. They ate ravenously, still buzzing about everything from the night before. "This was the best sleepover I have ever been to," Marcus said. "Can we do it again?" "Definitely," I said. "We will do it every year." When the other boys went home, Liam helped me clean up. We took down the stars together, packed away the sleeping bags, washed the dishes. He was quiet but content, still glowing from the night before. "Mom," he said as we worked. "Yes." "Why does Grandma not like me as much as the other grandkids?" The question hit me like a punch to the stomach. I had been hoping he would not ask, that the success of our sleepover would erase the pain of the one he missed. But children see more than we give them credit for. They understand more than we want them to. I sat down on the couch and pulled him next to me. "I do not think Grandma does not like you. I think she does not understand you." "What do you mean?" Grandma grew up in a time when people thought boys should be a certain way. Tough, athletic, not showing their feelings. She does not know how to appreciate a boy like you, who is creative and sensitive and kind. So she thinks there is something wrong with me? She is wrong if she thinks that. There is nothing wrong with you, Liam. Absolutely nothing. You are exactly who you are supposed to be. Then why does she leave me out? Because she is limited. She can only see value in things she understands, and she does not understand you. But that is her loss. Because you are amazing, and anyone who cannot see that is missing out. Do you think she will ever understand? I do not know, sweetheart. Sometimes people change, and sometimes they do not. What I do know is that you have a whole family who loves you exactly as you are. Me, Daddy, your grandparents on my side, your friends. You have so many people who see how special you are. Yeah, he said softly. I guess I do. And I want you to remember something. The people who cannot see your value are not worth changing yourself for. You do not need to be tougher or louder or different to earn someone's love. You just need to be you, and the right people will love you for it. He leaned into me, and I held him close. My sensitive, creative, wonderful son, who deserved so much better than a grandmother who could not see past her own prejudices. After the sleepover, I did what I had planned. I posted photos on Facebook, just like Patricia had done. But I did not tag her or mention her in any way. I simply shared the images of Liam and his friends having an incredible night. I posted over 20 photos. The space-themed decorations in all their glowing glory. The boys arriving, their faces full of wonder. The scavenger hunt in progress, flashlights bobbing in the backyard. The rocket building session, paint everywhere, concentration on every face. The boys decorating cookies and building rockets. The telescope session under the stars, small silhouettes against the night sky. The sleeping bags lined up in a row, for happy kids at the end of a magical adventure. I wrote a caption that walked the line between celebration and subtle message. Sometimes the best memories come from creating magic with the people who truly value you. So proud of Liam and grateful for his wonderful friends. Space may be infinite, but so is love. The comments rolled in immediately. Friends and family members saying how amazing the party looked, how creative the theme was, how lucky Liam was to have such a thoughtful mother. This is incredible. Liam must have been so excited. You went all out. Those decorations are professional level. What an amazing mom you are. Liam is so lucky. Can I come to the next sleepover? This looks better than my adult parties. Chris's siblings saw the post too. His brother commented with a fire emoji and the words, "Epic party, sis." His sister sent me a private message asking for tips on planning themed sleepovers for her own kids. But the comment I was waiting for never came. Patricia saw the post. I knew because Facebook shows you who views your content, and her name appeared on the list within an hour of me posting. But she did not comment. She did not like it. She said nothing at all. Part of me had hoped she would respond. Had hoped the photos would shame her into some kind of acknowledgement, some recognition that she had hurt her grandson and that we had responded by creating something beautiful without her. But Patricia was not the type to acknowledge wrongdoing. She was the type to pretend things had not happened, to minimize and deflect and move on as if her behavior was perfectly acceptable. Good. I wanted her to see. I wanted her to know that her exclusion had not broken my son, that we had taken the pain she caused and transformed it into something better than anything she could have created. That Liam had people in his life who truly valued him, even if his grandmother was not one of them. The photos spread through Chris's extended family. His aunts shared them. His cousins commented. People who had attended Patricia's sleepover saw the competing images and drew their own conclusions. A few days later, Chris's sister-in-law sent me a text message. I saw the space sleepover photos. That looked amazing. I heard Liam was not at Patricia's sleepover. Is everything okay? I debated how to respond. Part of me wanted to pour out the whole story, to recruit allies in my frustration with Patricia. But I knew that would only escalate the conflict. Liam was not invited, I texted back. Patricia said he was too sensitive and would ruin it for everyone. She said that? That is awful. Yeah. So we created our own magic instead. Good for you. That party looked way better than Patricia's anyway. It was a small vindication, but it felt good. Other people were seeing what Patricia had done. Other people were judging her for it. The perfect grandmother image she cultivated was developing cracks that others could see. The conversation about Patricia's access to Liam was harder. Chris agreed that something had to change, but deciding exactly what was complicated. Patricia was still his mother. There were holidays and family events and the complex web of relationships that made up their extended family. We settled on a middle ground. We would no longer go out of our way to include Liam in events at Patricia's house. If she wanted to see him, she would have to make an effort, and that effort would have to include treating him with the same enthusiasm she showed her other grandchildren. No more dropping Liam off for visits where he is just going to be ignored, I said. No more bringing him to family events where he is going to be excluded or left out. If Patricia wants a relationship with her grandson, she needs to earn it. Chris agreed. He called his mother to explain the new arrangement. The conversation did not go well. Patricia accused us of overreacting, of punishing her for one small oversight, of trying to turn Chris against his own family. She refused to acknowledge that her treatment of Liam was problematic. "Fine," Chris said finally. "When you are ready to treat Liam the same way you treat Tyler and Sophie and the others, let us know. Until then, we will be limiting his exposure to situations where he might be hurt." "You are making a mistake," Patricia said. "I am protecting my son. That is never a mistake." The months that followed were an adjustment. We saw Patricia less often. We skipped some of the family gatherings we would normally have attended. When we did see her, Chris or I was always present, watching for signs of favoritism or exclusion. We did not leave Liam alone with her. We did not trust her to treat him fairly. Holidays were particularly awkward. We attended Christmas dinner at Patricia's house, but we kept Liam close, monitoring interactions, ready to leave if anything went wrong. Patricia was on her best behavior, clearly aware that she was being watched, but the tension was palpable. The other grandchildren noticed too. Tyler asked Chris why we were acting weird. Sophie commented that Grandma seemed nervous. Even little Madison, only 6 years old, picked up on the strained atmosphere. "Why does Grandma look at Liam funny?" she asked her mother. The question was repeated to us, and I did not know whether to laugh or cry. A 6-year-old could see what Patricia refused to acknowledge. Patricia was cold to us at first, clearly resentful of the boundaries we had set. She made passive-aggressive comments about being shut out from her grandson's life. She complained to Chris's siblings that we were being unfair, punishing her for one small mistake, overreacting to something that did not deserve this level of response. "It was just a sleepover," she told anyone who would listen. "Amanda is turning it into World War III. But Chris's siblings, having seen the Facebook posts and heard the truth about what happened, were not entirely sympathetic. "Mom, you invited everyone except Liam," his brother said during one phone call. "That is not a small mistake. That is a pattern." "What pattern?" "I love Liam." "Do you?" "Because from where I am standing, it looks like you love the idea of him but not the reality. The kid who actually exists does not fit what you want, so you push him away." That conversation, which Chris overheard because his brother had him on speaker, was a turning point. Patricia heard from her own children that her behavior was problematic. It was not just Amanda, the difficult daughter-in-law, making accusations. It was people who had known Patricia their whole lives, who loved her, who were telling her the same thing. Eventually, something started to shift. Maybe she realized she was losing her grandson. Maybe Chris's siblings said more to her than we knew about. Maybe she just got tired of the distance and the tension. Maybe, somewhere deep down, she started to examine her own behavior and did not like what she saw. She started making small efforts. Not grand gestures or dramatic apologies, but small, consistent changes that showed she was trying. Asking about Liam's art projects and actually listening to the answers instead of changing the subject. Remembering that he liked astronomy and mentioning articles she had seen about space exploration. Sending him a book about the solar system for his birthday instead of the generic gift cards she used to give. She started attending some of his events. Not all of them, but some. She came to his spring piano recital and sat in the front row. She visited his classroom during the art show and spent 20 minutes looking at his paintings. She asked questions about what he was working on and seemed genuinely interested in the answers. It was not a complete transformation. Patricia still had her favorites, still lit up more for Tyler's sports achievements than Liam's creative accomplishments. Old habits run deep, and 60-something years of believing boys should be one way was not going to change overnight. But she was trying. She was making an effort, and Liam noticed. Grandma asked about my painting today, he told me after one visit. She actually looked at it. She said the colors were pretty. That is wonderful, sweetheart. How did that make you feel? Good. Like maybe she is starting to see me. Maybe she is. She also asked what books I was reading. She even wrote down the name of one so she could look it up. That is real effort, Liam. That is your grandmother trying to connect with you. Yeah, it is nice. Those moments of connection grew more frequent. Patricia started sending Liam texts, simple messages asking about his day or sharing pictures of interesting things she had seen. She started remembering details about his life, things that showed she was paying attention. It was not perfect. The relationship between Patricia and me remained strained. We were civil to each other, but the warmth that might have existed in a different timeline was gone. She knew I did not trust her fully. I knew she still harbored resentment about the boundaries we had set, but the relationship between Patricia and Liam was slowly, carefully healing, and that was what mattered most. It took another 2 years before Patricia invited Liam to a sleepover. This time, she called us first. She asked if he would be comfortable. She promised to include him in every activity, to make sure he felt welcome, to call us immediately if there were any problems. Liam was nervous but wanted to go. We drove him to Patricia's house and walked him to the door. Patricia was waiting on the porch. Liam, I am so glad you are here, she said. I made sure to get you a sleeping bag with stars on it. I remembered you like space. Liam looked at me, his eyes wide with surprise. His grandmother had remembered something about him, had made an effort specifically for him. Thanks, Grandma, he said. That is really cool. He spent the night at Patricia's house with his cousins, and this time, there were no tears, no exclusion, no feelings of being left out. He came home the next day with stories about the pillow fight and the movie they watched and the pancakes Patricia made for breakfast. It was fun, he said. Not as fun as our space sleepover, but fun. I smiled. I am glad you had a good time. Grandma is different now. She still likes Tyler more, I can tell. But she is trying with me. I can tell that too. What do you think about that? I think trying is good. I think people can change if they want to. My 9-year-old, my sensitive and perceptive boy, had learned a lesson that many adults never grasp. That change is possible. That effort matters. That we can choose to meet people halfway when they are genuinely working to be better. Liam is 12 years old now. His relationship with Patricia is not perfect, but it is real. She comes to his art shows sometimes, sitting in the audience and taking photos with her phone. She asks about his projects and actually listens to the answers. She has learned to appreciate his unique gifts, even if she does not fully understand them. She still favors Tyler. That will probably never fully change. When Tyler scored the winning touchdown in his homecoming game, Patricia talked about it for weeks. When Liam won first place in the regional art competition, she mentioned it once and moved on. The disparity is still there, still noticeable, still hurtful when you look for it. But the gap has narrowed. Liam is no longer invisible to his grandmother. He is no longer an afterthought or an inconvenience. He exists in her world now, imperfect as that existence might be. The space sleepover remains one of Liam's favorite memories. He still talks about it, still remembers every detail, still considers it one of the best nights of his life. The glow-in-the-dark stars are still on his ceiling. The rocket he built that night sits on his bookshelf, slightly dented from its test launches but preserved as a reminder. He hosted another space sleepover last year for his 11th birthday, this time planning most of it himself. The same friends came. The same wonder filled the room. Some traditions are worth repeating. You know what I realized, he told me recently. Grandma's sleepover that I missed was not really about me. It was about her and what she could not see. But our sleepover was about me. It was exactly what I would have wanted. That is a very mature way to look at it. I learned from you. You showed me that when someone cannot see your value, you do not have to wait for them to change. You can create your own magic with the people who do see you. When did you get so wise? He grinned. I have always been wise. You just did not notice. I laughed and pulled him into a hug. My sensitive, creative, wonderful son, who was turning into a thoughtful and insightful young man. That is the lesson of the sleepover. Not that Patricia was cruel, though she was. Not that exclusion hurts, though it does. But that love is creative. That pain can be transformed. That a mother who sees her child, truly sees him, can build something beautiful out of something broken. Sometimes I think about what would have happened if I had handled things differently. If I had let the sleepover incident go, chalked it up to Patricia being Patricia, made excuses like Chris used to do. Would Liam have eventually given up on his grandmother? Would he have internalized the message that he was not good enough? Would he have started believing that his sensitivity was a flaw rather than a gift? I do not know. I cannot know. But I am glad I did not take that risk. The boundaries I set were uncomfortable. The confrontation with Patricia was painful. The months of tension and limited contact were hard on everyone, including Liam. But those choices sent a message. They told my son that his feelings mattered, that his place in the family was worth fighting for, that he did not have to accept treatment that diminished him, not even from his own grandmother. Those are lessons worth the discomfort. Those are messages worth delivering, even when delivery is hard. Patricia excluded my son from her magic. So I created our own. And our magic was better. It was better because it was authentic. Because it was not about managing image or maintaining hierarchy. Because it was born from love, the fierce protective love that mothers carry for their children. Some people never understand that love. Patricia, for all her progress, still does not fully get it. She still thinks love should look a certain way, that children should fit a certain mold, that anything outside her expectations is somehow lesser. But Liam understands. He understands that love is not about fitting in. It is about being seen. It is about finding the people who appreciate you exactly as you are and holding on to them. He found those people. His friends from school who keep coming back, year after year. His grandparents on my side who shower him with unconditional affection. His father, who finally stood up to his own mother when it mattered. And me, his mother. The one who will always fight for his place in the world. The one who will always create magic when others try to leave him in the dark. That is what motherhood is. Not perfection, not always knowing the right thing to do. But showing up. Fighting. Refusing to let your child believe he is less than he is. I showed up for Liam. I will keep showing up, for as long as he needs me, in whatever way he needs me. And if anyone tries to exclude him again, I will create something even more beautiful than before. Because that is what mothers do. We transform pain into magic. We turn exclusion into opportunity. We build castles from the rubble others leave behind. Patricia can keep her sleepovers. We will create our own. Thank you for listening to my journey of discovering what motherhood truly means. I have left 2 more stories on your screen, each from mothers who learned that protecting a child can mean standing alone against those once called family. Choose the one that speaks to you. And if you want to join a community of parents who fight for their children, that notification bell is waiting. Until tomorrow, remember, blood connects us, but a mother's love protects us.